Engineering design, management of change. Establishing a structured, accountable framework for modifications in complex industrial systems. Facility manager, operational guardian, ensuring site readiness, execution, feasibility, and asset-level compliance. The facility manager holds a pivotal operational role within the management of change (MOC) process, acting as the key authority responsible for assessing how a proposed modification impacts the functioning, safety, and efficiency of the asset under their supervision. Bridging technical intent and operational reality, the facility manager ensures that any change, regardless of scope, can be safely implemented, sustained, and integrated into day-to-day operations. Whether a modification alters process flow, equipment layout, control logic, or personnel exposure, the facility manager provides frontline insight into its practical consequences. Their responsibility lies in aligning engineering solutions with operational constraints and readiness. Key responsibilities of the facility manager include operational feasibility and impact assessment. The facility manager reviews each proposed change to determine its impact on current operations, startup, shutdown, and emergency procedures, the readiness of the operating team to support and sustain the change, interactions with other ongoing activities, campaigns, or simultaneous operations, potential disruptions to production, safety, or crew schedules, site-specific constraints and opportunity windows. For every modification, the facility manager evaluates whether physical access, spatial clearance, and logistics permit implementation. If temporary shutdowns, tie-ins, or isolation windows are available and appropriate, coordination with planned maintenance, turnarounds, or brownfield integration phases, validation of staffing and training requirements. Any change affecting equipment or procedures must be reviewed for human implications. The facility manager ensures that the site has the right personnel, competencies, and certifications in place, that additional training or familiarization is planned for operators and maintainers, that temporary manning changes, if required, are identified and approved in advance. Compliance with facility standards and practices. The facility manager confirms that all modifications align with local facility operating procedures, HSE plans, and control philosophies, are compatible with area-specific standards and performance expectations, do not compromise established emergency response plans, access routes, or occupancy guidelines, interface with stakeholders, and work coordination. The facility manager works closely with engineering, construction, operations, and HSE teams to align priorities and mitigate execution risk. Senior operating authority to ensure modifications support business objectives and production targets. Modification contractors and supervisors to manage site logistics and access requirements. Review and approval role in the MOC process. During the MOC lifecycle, the facility manager provides early-stage review and feedback on operational impacts, approves final readiness for implementation at site level, verifies that post-installation operational documents, e.g., SOPs, O&M manuals, are updated accordingly. Contribution to closeout and post-implementation validation. Following execution, the facility manager verifies that the modification has been safely integrated into normal operations, supports post-startup reviews and feedback loops to identify residual risks or improvement opportunities, confirms that all operator-facing interfaces, panels, alarms, controls function as intended. By aligning technical change with site-specific realities, the facility manager ensures that modifications are not just theoretically viable, but practically executable. Their insight reinforces operational continuity, site safety, and team readiness, making them an indispensable link between design intent and real-world performance. The facility manager champions the principle that a modification is only successful if it works not just on paper, but in the field, under pressure, and with people. Engineering design, management of change, establishing a structured, accountable framework for modifications in complex industrial systems. HSE Technical Authority, championing safety, environmental stewardship, and regulatory alignment in every modification. The HSE Technical Authority plays a critical role in the management of change (MOCIA) process by providing assurance that all proposed modifications are evaluated through the lens of health, safety, and environmental (HSE) impact. As the conscience of operational risk management, the HSE Technical Authority ensures that changes do not introduce new hazards, compromise environmental compliance, or degrade the safety culture embedded within the organization. Their contribution transcends hazard identification. It brings structure, independence, and a systems-level perspective to how risk is controlled, mitigated, and communicated. Key responsibilities of the HSE Technical Authority include risk identification and impact evaluation. For every proposed modification, the HSE Technical Authority assesses potential impacts to personnel safety, including exposure to toxic materials, high-energy systems, or confined spaces, environmental consequences such as emissions, discharges, waste generation, or spill potential, occupational health considerations, ergonomics, noise, vibration, lighting, and work environment, cumulative effects on facility-wide risk levels, including escalation potential and simultaneous operations, alignment with Safety Management System, SMS. The HSE Technical Authority verifies that the modification conforms to the organization's formal safety and environmental management frameworks, triggers appropriate updates to hazard registers, risk assessments, and control procedures, does not conflict with existing HSE policies, permit conditions, or risk tolerability thresholds, evaluation of safeguards and emergency preparedness. Each change is reviewed for its effect on protective systems, including fire and gas detection, emergency shutdown, and isolation systems, relief systems, containment, drainage, and secondary barriers, evacuation routes, muster points, fire zones, and occupancy levels, response procedures and required revisions to drills, training, and emergency action plans, regulatory compliance, and external expectations. The HSE Technical Authority ensures that the modification complies with national regulations, industry guidelines, and environmental permits. Any changes to operating conditions or environmental impact are documented and reported as required. Interface with regulatory bodies or stakeholders is maintained when approvals or notifications are triggered. Review of documentation and technical commentary. As part of the MOSI process, the HSE Technical Authority reviews MOSI documentation with a structured checklist of safety and environmental considerations, avoids subjective or speculative advice, instead relying on quantifiable criteria, incident history, and applicable legislation, provides clear, actionable comments, and confirms that mitigation measures are traceable and enforceable. Change control and continuous improvement. The HSE Technical Authority contributes to verification that all modifications are reflected in updated HSE procedures and risk control measures. Lessons learned capture from past modifications to strengthen future risk management. Promoting a culture of responsible change, where safety and sustainability are central design criteria, not afterthoughts. Post-implementation validation and assurance. Following implementation, the HSE Technical Authority reviews the real-world performance of new or modified systems, verifies that intended safeguards are effective and correctly implemented, ensures that operating and maintenance teams are trained and equipped to manage new risks. By embedding a structured HSE perspective into every engineering change, the HSE Technical Authority transforms the MOSI process from a technical formality into a proactive risk control strategy. Their guidance ensures that safety and environmental responsibility remain visible, measurable, and integral, regardless of the scale or complexity of the modification. In every decision, the HSE Technical Authority reinforces a simple principle: no change is successful unless it is safe, sustainable, and fully aligned with the organization's duty of care. Engineering design, management of change. Establishing a structured, accountable framework for modifications in complex industrial systems. DCC Administrator, ensuring documentation control, process visibility, and audit integrity across all modifications. The DCC Administrator, Document Control Coordinator, serves as the information steward within the Management of Change (MOSI) process, ensuring every modification is formally tracked, properly routed, and securely documented throughout its lifecycle. While technical authorities assess what should be changed, the DCC Administrator ensures that how it is managed remains transparent, traceable, and compliant. Their role underpins the procedural backbone of the MOSI system, enabling stakeholders to trust the integrity of approvals, the status of ongoing changes, and the completeness of records for future reference, audit, or regulatory review. Key responsibilities of the DCC administrator include issuance and tracking of MOC numbers. For every new modification, the DCC administrator assigns a unique MOC number through the central database or tracking platform, ensures numbering follows a consistent auditable sequence, prevents duplication, omission, or informal tracking of changes outside the system, control of document routing and circulation. The DCC administrator issues the MOC circulation sheet based on the discipline and department list provided by the Senior Technical Authority, distributes the MOC package to all required reviewers in the correct sequence and format, tracks each stage of review from initiation to final approval, ensuring no step is skipped or bypassed, database maintenance and status reporting. The DCC administrator maintains the MOC database with current accurate information, including modification title, type, engineering, configuration, maintenance, location, and priority, assigned responsible job officer and associated departments, origination date, review status, approval milestones, and implementation stage, weekly or monthly summary reports indicating stagnant, overdue, or completed modifications, audit trail, and change history. The DCC administrator guarantees the traceability of all changes by maintaining a comprehensive, time-stamped log of who reviewed, commented, approved, or updated each document, ensuring version control of all MOC-related forms, markups, and supporting documents, archiving previous revisions while clearly flagging the active and approved versions for use, interface with engineering and operations teams. Throughout the process, the DCC administrator supports engineering and operations staff in accessing current MOC documents, provides guidance on documentation formatting, submittal requirements, and data completeness, flags inconsistencies or gaps in the MOC file that could delay approval or compromise audit readiness. Record closure and archive integrity. Once a modification is implemented and closed out, the DCC administrator confirms that all final documents as built and updated procedures are received and filed, links MOC records with associated work orders, engineering reports, and test certifications, ensures long-term storage in a central retrievable archive system for future audits, inspections, or reuse. Monitoring of process compliance. The DCC administrator plays a gatekeeper role by flagging MOCs that appear stalled or lack required inputs from disciplines, highlighting noncompliance with circulation protocols or approval requirements, enabling real-time visibility into the health and performance of the MOC process. While the DCC administrator may not influence the technical content of a change, they are the guardian of its procedural legitimacy. Their diligence ensures that every modification is managed as a controlled event, visible, verifiable, and ready for scrutiny. Through disciplined tracking, structured communication, and unwavering document control, the DCC administrator ensures that engineering excellence is matched by administrative reliability, bringing order, clarity, and accountability to every step of change management. Engineering design, management of change, establishing a structured, accountable framework for modifications in complex industrial systems. Senior operating authority, strategic enabler and final approver of safe, aligned, and priority-driven modifications. The Senior Operating Authority, SOA, plays a pivotal leadership role in the management of change, MOF process, by bridging technical change with operational strategy, resource allocation, and business objectives. As the highest-ranking operations representative, the SOA provides governance, priority alignment, and final authorization for field implementation, ensuring that modifications support both asset integrity and organizational intent. While technical authorities define how a change should occur, the SOA decides if and when it should proceed, balancing engineering justification with operational demands, resource availability, and safety assurance. Key responsibilities of the Senior Operating Authority include initial concept endorsement. Early in the MOC process, the SOA evaluates whether the proposed modification is operationally relevant and strategically aligned. The issue warrants further engineering development and resource investment. The modification can be routed into the formal MOC workflow with appropriate business justification. Final go-ahead for implementation. Once technical approvals are complete, the SOA reviews the finalized work pack, including engineering plans, risk assessments, and execution schedules. confirms that all prerequisites for safe execution, shutdown windows, isolation plans, manning are in place, grants final site release for physical implementation, serving as the formal checkpoint between planning and execution. Strategic oversight and resource allocation. The SOA ensures that each modification fits within the facility's operational priorities, production commitments, and maintenance schedule, has access to the required personnel, contractors, permits, and materials, does not conflict with other planned activities or overburden critical resources. Cross-functional alignment and stakeholder interface. As the MOC's executive sponsor, the SOA coordinates with operations, engineering, HSE, and supply chain to ensure cohesive planning, addresses stakeholder concerns, both internal, e.g. operations teams, and external, e.g. regulators, partners, mediates conflicting priorities or trade-offs where technical necessity intersects with business impact. Performance management and contractor interface. For modifications executed through contractors or third-party providers, the SOA sets performance expectations for safety, quality, cost, and schedule, defines success criteria and progress milestones, reviews contractor performance in the context of broader business unit BU. Objectives. Authorization of temporary modifications. Where temporary modifications are required, the SOA collaborates with the senior technical authority to define allowable timescales and control measures, ensures temporary changes are tracked, reviewed, and formally reversed or made permanent within defined limits. Executive ownership and risk acceptance. The SOA bears overall accountability for accepting the operational risk associated with each modification, ensuring that all procedural, technical, and safety requirements have been fulfilled, escalating unresolved concerns or exceptions to senior leadership when necessary. Championing change success. As the modification sponsor, the SOA serves as the internal advocate for successful delivery and closeout, a key decision maker in resolving late-stage issues or resource conflicts, the primary authority ensuring the change delivers operational, safety, or financial value. By combining strategic judgment with operational accountability, the senior operating authority ensures that modifications are not only technically viable, but also organizationally supported, timely, and sustainable. Their role is essential in maintaining control, focus, and business discipline across a potentially wide array of changes. In essence, the SOA transforms the MOC process from a technical exercise into a coordinated, priority-driven business function, ensuring that every modification contributes to the long-term safety, reliability, and performance of the asset.